daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
It's the daily soccer podcast from the Global Sports Podcast Network that is also known as the Daily Premier League Podcast. It is your daily deep dive into all things Premier League. My name's Ken Davis. His name is Nicholas Britton. And it's been a busy week for Premier League teams in the Champions League. There's going to be a lot to pull apart from that, a lot of fallout. And we're going to just review the performances that we've seen this week. But first, before we get onto that kind of stuff, wins for Derby, wins for Wrexham, Nick. What do you make of those two things? We're going to see Derby and Wrexham in the Premier League next year.
No, I think...
all right, and just bring me back down to earth,
No, I don't think so.
A parachute.
It was an excellent win for Derby away at Swansea City. Look, Derby they're a weird side because they're so bad and yet they're so good at the same time. They can barely string sort of two passes together half of the time, but they score goals, they win games. They're set up to kind of win games.
Decent defence. They've got a decent defence.
Very, very good defence. Very good goalkeeper. Very good centre halves. And Danny Bath came in for his only his second game of the season because Dion Sanderson was injured and did a great job.
That's good to see because he wasn't impressive in his first game of the season.
No, he wasn't. And I thought Derby played very well. But without they don't really play great football. They just win games.
No, they're a dreadful watch, really. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because they're seventh, I think.
It'll do me, yeah. It'll do me.
1 point ahead of the mighty Wrexham, who also won and who also are on a bit of a roll. We haven't, lost in 10 or something now.
Yeah. No, very interesting to see how Wrexham are going to get on.
Come on. So anyway, now shall we go from the dizzy heights of the championship to the dizzy heights of the Champions League? And there were 6 games. I want to have a quick look through some fascinating games amongst them. Liverpool's woes continue. We'll come to that. Chelsea's don't know. Chelsea 3, Barcelona 0. Of course, Barcelona reduced to 10 men after about 40 minutes. But still, Chelsea, they look a team.
Yeah, they do. And I talked about this on the podcast yesterday, which I had to do on my own, Ken, because you weren't here.
Oh, no. I was doing something else, wasn't I?
I was kind of talking about the fact that Estevao has really... Estevao, I keep getting his name wrong. Estevao has really come to the fore. And we had talked about, a few weeks ago on the podcast, about can Chelsea play without Cole Palmer? And the answer at that stage was no, they didn't seem to know what to do. But they do now. And they seem to have sort of settled on a team. Caicedo's playing really well. Estevao's come into the team to create that bit of magic that they didn't have when Palmer wasn't playing. And great to see Liam Delap back on the score sheet and playing, came on off the bench. So suddenly it's looking pretty good for Chelsea.
Well, if you're demolishing Barcelona 3-0, you don't do that by accident.
Well, we had Lamar, one of the best players in the world at the moment, certainly the best young player in the world. We had Lamar playing for Barcelona and all eyes really were on Estevao.
Estevao was very good in comparison. What a magnificent second goal they scored, and the strength and the skill Estevao showed to score that, I thought was remarkable. So that interestingly leaves Barcelona in 18th place in the Champions League table.
Yeah, they haven't started well, have they? There's no time, and you only really need to finish in the top 16. Because the top 8 qualify automatically and the next 8 will go into playoffs. Yeah. So as long as you're in that 16, then you're okay. But you would expect Barcelona to be in the top 8, wouldn't you? You'd expect them to qualify automatically.
You would. After 5 games, to find themselves in 18th. And they didn't look... it looked okay, but they didn't... Chelsea looked the better team even before they lost the player. And after that, there was only going to be one winner.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
So, interestingly... Manchester City 0, that doesn't happen very often, Bayern Leverkusen 2.
10 changes. 10 changes from Pep Guardiola.
Yeah, it didn't work, did it?
Well, categorically not.
It did not work. They were unbeaten as well in the Champions League before the game.
Yeah, I don't know what his thinking was. I don't know whether it was we're going to take by Leverkusen too easily. I don't know whether it was, look, we need to get fringe players playing. We need to give Haaland a rest. We've got a tough Premier League fixture list coming up. We're getting to that busy December period very soon. Yeah, what his thinking was, I don't know. 10 changes is very drastic.
Yeah.
Very drastic. Whether he's saying to players, right, here's your chance, go and take it, or you're out the door. It's very. I don't know what the motivation was for that at all. It's very difficult to say.
And they did seem to be a lot like a cohesion about Man City yesterday. I tell you, was the player of the match, in my opinion, Flecken in goal for Leverkusen, just pulled off a string of one remarkable save in the first half, and then a string of saves all the way through the game. He's a great keeper, Flecken, and he really showed it yesterday.
Well, look, I mean, Wednesday, I think it was, wasn't it?
Wednesday. It was Wednesday.
Tuesday, because today's Thursday.
Tuesday. You're right. Tuesday. Thursday.
Yeah, he is a good keeper, and maybe we're being a bit too harsh on Man City because he did pull off some good saves. But the reality is they still lost at home 2-0 by Leverkusen.
And they had the chances. Haaland came on after the 64 minutes. He had a couple of decent chances. He got round Flecken, gave Flecken a chance, and he couldn't get past him. And then there's a chance later on as well. But chances you expect Haaland to take. But I mean, he was cold. He'd come off the bench.
Don't know, because I mean, against Newcastle, there were a couple of chances that you'd expect Haaland to take on Saturday, and he didn't take them. So maybe this is it. It's all over.
Don't say that, because I've treble captaining him at home against Leeds this weekend.
Yeah.
Which means he gets sent off after. No, he'll miss a penalty and then he'll get sent off.
He'll miss a penalty. He'll get sent off after about half an hour, which means that he qualifies for playing.
Yeah. We see it coming. So just finishing things off on Tuesday night. Seems a long time ago. Marseille, down in the south of France, 2, Newcastle 1. Newcastle 1 up after 5 minutes. Harvey Barnes, again, scoring. He knows where the old onion bag is at the moment. And then a very odd goal right at the start of the second half. What Nick Pope was doing, I'm not quite sure, 30 seconds into the second half. And then they're going to get another one. So 5 minutes into the second half, Marseille are 2-1 up. Big chance for Willock at the end, but better team won in the end, do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Newcastle's away form is poor, has been poor for quite some time. Again, I mean, I think it's the third game in a row now. They've taken the lead away from home. They've taken the lead and lost. It was, I mean, Nick Pope. I was watching it, and it reminded me. I was making this point yesterday. It reminded me of when I play FIFA and take control of my goalie, and he just runs off in the opposite direction.
Do you reckon someone was in control of Nick Pope? He wasn't in control of his own actions.
And just sent him sprinting into no man's land.
It looked like that, didn't it?
Because
you had no hope of actually
it's just classic.
The ball, or
suddenly realises I ain't going to get this, and just stands there.
Time stood still, and lovely finish by their player. Though.
Well, don't understand. That shouldn't take away from what was a brilliant finish from Aubameyang. And it really shouldn't. But look, you can't go conceding goals 20 seconds into the second half of these types of games. Yeah, Newcastle are 1-0 up at a break, looking good.
Cruising, really.
Away form has been poor, but you've got, you're really in here. And before anybody had taken their seats, it's 1-1. And then before anybody had even had a chance to have a cup of tea, it's 2-1. And then out of nothing, within 4 minutes of madness, then you're chasing a game. And they chased it, but they didn't really chase it, I'm honest.
They didn't really threaten. They had one chance, didn't they, right at the end of Willock. And that's Marseille are up to 21st. It just shows, Marseille won exactly on fantastic form. And I've seen the French league. It's not great at that kind of level. Newcastle should have been winning that game.
I think so.
Newcastle are still 11th because they've had a decent start to the Champions League campaign.
Well, they were in the top 8, going into the game.
Yeah. So bit of a wasted opportunity. Right, so that was Tuesday. And before we get on to Wednesday, as we know in football, it pays to get your team selection right. And here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery partner. We chose Zencastr, sainted Zencastr. They make it easy to bring your vision to life and share it with your audience, wherever they may be. It's got 4K video recording. It's got easy AI, difficult thing to say, easy AI editing, and top-tier distribution tools. And they're all on one platform, so that makes it easy. So if you've got a story to tell it with Zencastr. Check the show notes. You'll find all the details that you need.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okie dokie. So now we move on to Wednesday. Wednesday we move on to.
Any idea what that is?
One of the games I was really looking forward to, and it kind of lived up to expectation. Arsenal against Bayern Munich to everybody else. I thought Arsenal were amazing. What a great set piece goal! Arsenal set pieces are a joy to watch. Neuer didn't know what he was kind of being battered with last night.
No, he had a bit of a Pope moment as well on a couple of occasions where he ran out of the goal in a random direction. I thought Arsenal was sensational. I thought they made pretty light work of Bayern, to be honest with you, and didn't give Harry Kane a sniff. And he's the man who scores all their goals. And just generally, I just thought their play was brilliant. They're so good at kind of going direct. They're so good at mixing it up. They're so good at playing good football. You never know where they get the angles they run at. You just don't know. If you're a defender, you've just got no idea where you're getting hit from next.
They're great, and they've got a great defence, and they're great at set pieces. They've got a great keeper. I mean, they are an all-round. They're a really top team this season.
Yeah. I mean, if they beat Chelsea on Sunday, you kind of feel that's the Premier League almost over and done with.
Remember when we used to say that about Liverpool?
No, not really.
You remember that back in, what was it, September? I think the Premier League might be over this season. It's September the 17th, and Liverpool.
Yeah, well, it is. It's just not for. It's just not Liverpool.
It's not Liverpool. Yeah, there was no sign of Kane. Do you think this? You know what? You have got a theory about the standard of the German Bundesliga compared to the Premier League. It's completely different, and
it is completely different. 100%.
And you can be a world beater in the Bundesliga, and I mean, absolute nobody in the Premier League. Was that just a reminder that Kane at the Premier League level is? I know it's not.
No. I mean, if that happens against Palace or Everton or mid-ranking. Well, Palace are fifth now, aren't they? But you know what I mean. A mid-ranking Premier League team. You kind of go maybe, but you're up against Arsenal here. You're up against Arsenal, the best defence in the league, probably one of the best defences in Europe.
He never got a sniff, did he?
It's no disgrace not to get a sniff.
No, well played, Arsenal. 3-1 winners. Now, here's the elephant in the room. We talked about this when we had, was it Monday's episode, that PSV is going to be a really tricky game for Arne Slot, obviously, because he knows a lot about him. Obviously, Dutch manager. I predicted they would lose because I just think PSV would be right up for this game. Liverpool concede again first. Van Dijk's penalty was absolutely obvious penalty. What his arm was doing up there is, I mean, he did claim that he was impeded, but there's no excuse for having his arm up there, was there?
It's not foul. I don't care. I don't care whether he can claim what he likes. It's not foul.
No.
I mean, sorry. It is a foul. Sorry, that's what I'm trying to say. Sorry. He can claim what he likes. He's wrong, is what I'm trying to say in all of that. It was quite clearly handball. And it was Perisic, wasn't it? Perisic.
Yeah.
A man who we are going to be talking about tomorrow, by the way, on Road to World Cup 26 podcast, when we look at Croatia. Perisic tucked it away, and you're almost thinking, well, that's it. And I know they equalised and had a bit of a spell and hit the bar, but they still look pretty rubbish, don't they? And I don't know. I mean, where on earth does Arne Slot go from here at the moment? I mean, where does he go?
Well, I'm just looking at the goals yesterday. They're all mistakes, all defensive mistakes. I mean, when it went to 2-1, very neat finish, decent ball straight through. Kirkes fast asleep. Kirkes has got to get goal side of his man. And he started off half a step behind him. He was never going to catch him up. Guy puts the ball in the back of the net. Kirkes fast asleep. 3-1. Canate makes a horrible decision. Loses the ball straight down the left. They're through. 4-1. Sliced open again down the right. I mean, it's all coming from the flanks, and they just can't cope with it.
It's all coming from anywhere the opposition has the ball. Flanks, middle, crosses. It can come from anywhere against Liverpool because, and we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? They have no defensive midfield. So the defence is completely exposed. I mean, yesterday they were pushing the whole midfield up way too high. So it was dead easy for PSV to get at the defence. and the defence isn't very good, so it was dead easy for them to score. And
it is. You're right about that. You put your finger on that. Any team that really pushes Liverpool and has got runners from midfield, Liverpool are in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah. I mean, Slot's. There's lots of talk about Klopp coming back. By the way, I think it's probably media speculation. But Slot is. He's got to get back to the basics, and the basics, as Brian Clough always said, was if you don't concede goals, you don't lose games. And start with the defence. Everything should start with the defence. That's what great teams are built on. And the defence is dreadful. There's no other way about it. Even Van Dijk now is looking bad. And he was. Well,
I feel sorry for Van Dijk because I think he's carrying the whole defence really on his shoulders, isn't he? There's only him. Yeah. There's no one else.
I totally agree. Yeah, and he must just be exasperated by all of this.
Yeah. No, he must. Now, so on this, in terms of Slot, that was a big sharp nail in the coffin last night for Arne Slot, losing at home 4-1 to PSV. PSV are they're not Bayern Munich. The clock is definitely ticking. How loud is the clock ticking?
It's very, very difficult, isn't it? Because we've seen what happens if you get rid of managers, and we've seen also Arsenal. Look at Arsenal as a great example. As if what happens when you stick with a manager through hard times for 3 or 4 or 5 years and allow him to build over that period.
Good point.
Months, not over 3 months, 6 months, what have you. Allow him to build and give him the time to do so. The flip side of that is Liverpool cannot not qualify for the Champions League next season. Financially, it'd be a disaster for them. I think they'll do what Man United and Tottenham did last season, which is finish up and sort of wallowing around the bottom reaches of the Premier League, which is unacceptable. And then they've got a decision to make. I don't think there's any sense in getting rid of Slot before the summer. But then I think...
Did you see it? Would you put your house on it?
3 or 4 games. What is the justification for keeping him? Because it's not like they are playing all right and being a bit unlucky. They're actually just getting progressively worse every single game.
Yeah, confidence is just falling at the bottom of the club, really.
You then sort of start asking yourself, well, has he lost the dressing room? Are the players putting in a shift? Are they bothered? Do they want Slot out? Is the dressing room split? All these types of questions. And when even you start asking those types of questions, that normally means the manager's on the slippery slope because he's the one who pays with his job. It's never the players. Players get away with it all the time. They hold the power in this relationship. It's always the manager who gets the sack when the players decide not to perform.
Yeah, he's on very, very, very thin ice, though. That ice is getting thinner every week. I think what worries me about Slot is he seems a little bit bereft of ideas. He doesn't seem to have a plan. He doesn't seem to have a best 11. He just doesn't have anything settled. Now, the performance of the players has kind of forced his hand a little bit on that because he's been forced to look elsewhere because the players have been so poor. But still, you get the impression that there isn't a vision and there just isn't a plan. It just seems to be a little bit reactive rather than planned.
It is, and you have to feel for him in some respect because you could never imagine Salah would be as bad as he has. And by the way, he should be the first name to drop off the team sheet at the weekend. He just does not deserve to have that shirt after his performance last night, let alone his performances in recent games generally.
He was absent without leave, wasn't he?
His lack of effort was appalling because if you can't, nobody's asking you to run around like a banshee, but you can see your right back needs help. And to just stand there and watch is pathetic, in my opinion.
Well, a lot of people have pointed at that, haven't they? Why one of the issues around the fullbacks has been really because the lack of support from the players further up the field.
Yeah,
and essentially they're being overrun.
Yeah, and Salah's never been one for chasing back.
No,
but he's never really had to. But at the moment, he does. At the moment, for the good of the team, he needs to work harder. So he needs to be the first one to go. They've got a difficult game. You never ever thought you'd say this. He's got a difficult game away at West Ham on Sunday. And that's looking a real banana skin. Because West Ham have picked up.
They have. That's going to be...
West Ham will fancy it. And when we come and do our predictions at the weekend's podcast, I ain't going with Liverpool, I can tell you that.
Well, it's a draw, isn't it? Got a draw written all over it.
I don't think it is.
As we worked out last weekend.
Well, yeah, all your games have got draws written all over them, Ken. No, I think we'll go in with West Ham for that one.
Interesting one. I'm looking forward to that game. Right. A couple of things just to mention. Global Sports Podcast Network is partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements, because your body, Nick, I'm looking at you now, is unique. And because without knowing what deficiencies you have, and Nick's got a few, let's be honest, taking off-the-shelf supplements mean you're probably not getting enough of the nutrients you need, Nick, and too many of the ones you don't need. And we all know you get too many of certain nutrients you just don't need. Bioniq provides 100%. It's all written down. This is what they sent to me. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels. Click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN 2025. You'll get 40% off your first order.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Okay. Right, just before we get into the last bit of this, what will be probably a record podcast in the sense it's probably going to be over in 25 minutes, so we can all go and have our tea. But if you do want to get in contact with us via email, the best way to do that is through our email address. That's how it works on email. Daily Premier League Podcast at gmail.com. If you send an email to that, it'll get to us. That's how the internet works. And then we'll be able to read it and maybe feature it on the show. Do you reckon that's what we should do, Nick?
I think that's exactly what we should do. And whilst, by the way, you might be going to have your tea because you're a bit lazy and don't do a lot of exercise. I'm going out to play football shortly.
Have you had your tea?
Nope. I'll have it when I come back.
Good lad. Hey, and good lad. Well done for playing. Not reffing. Playing.
Not reffing today. No, playing. Which would be.
Have you given up the reffing? Just for the world wants to know. Are you still doing it?
Oh yeah, I'm still refereeing. Yeah, no, but I've decided I'm playing tonight only because my son he plays in this sort of five-side sort of thing, and they're a player short, so he's asked me to play. I think I'm just going.
So I might be doing this on my own tomorrow.
Ken, I'm of a certain age, as you well know, and I'm up with a load of 22-year-olds. So I think I'll just go in goal. And
I would. I really would. That's not going to end well. I remember playing on the same five-side team as you once.
Yeah, I know. I remember those. I remember
a worldie, actually, that day. I scored a worldie. Talking about worldies, final game to review is Paris Saint-Germain 5, Spurs 3. Now, everybody knows my view on Spurs. They're crap, but nobody understands that yet. 1-0, Richarlison. What a player. He keeps banging him in. Very nicely taken goal, actually. A very nicely patient build-up to that.
I wouldn't say he keeps banging them in. That's probably a little bit.
No, he occasionally bangs them in.
He spurts is what he does. He spurts.
He does spurt.
Two or three in a bit of a couple of 2-3 games, then not score for a few games.
For a year. Then Vitinha gets in on the act and he scores 3 in the game. Spurs went 2 up to start the second half. All looked like it was going to work out very well for them. And then the defence the wheels fell off a little bit. And 4-2, 4-3, 5-3.
Yeah, it was a much improved, certainly first half, much improved Tottenham from what we've seen. And at 1-0 up and then 2-1 up, shortly into the second half, you're thinking, maybe this is going to be the biggest shock this season.
Paris Saint-Germain are a team. I mean, they're second in the Champions League.
Well, they're the holders of the Champions League.
Of course they are, yeah.
And they're a brilliant side. And they would have fancied putting 5 past Tottenham. And in the end, they did. But fair play. Fair play to Tottenham, because the form they've shown this season form they've shown of late has been
inconsistent.
Been pretty poor. They haven't been great. They haven't defended that well, and struggled to score. And I thought they were much better last night. After what was a really poor performance at Arsenal, by the way, on Sunday, and you feared for them because you thought we go to Paris, go there, go to France, and play like that.
Battered again.
It's going to be 8 or 9, let alone 4. But they put in a good shift. I thought they played pretty well. There's no disgrace to losing to Paris Saint-Germain, and to to score 3 goals, I think is pretty good. They won't have come away with that game with their tail between their legs.
No, I think that's a fair assessment, actually. Well played, Spurs, in defeat. So tomorrow, 2 things that we're doing that you might be interested in. Firstly, we're doing the Road to World Cup podcast, which is all about Croatia. Should be an interesting one because they're decent.
I've got some great World Cup news for you tomorrow, Ken.
Really?
A couple of really good stories to talk about during our news segment.
Yeah, looking forward to that. You can find Road to World Cup podcast on Global Sports Podcast Network and wherever you find your podcasts. And also, we're going to be doing another Daily Premier League, which is going to be all about predictions, as it always is on a Friday. And looking forward to doing that. And then I might be away on holiday next week. Don't know. Might be here. Don't know. Wife's deciding what she wants to do. I just pay for it and tag along.
Well, with a bit of luck, she'll go on holiday and you'll stay home.
Shh, don't say that. Right. Okay, mate, you're going to get me in trouble. The world's heard that.
Never mind you. I'll get me in trouble with your missus.
You don't want to be there.
On a regular basis.
Indeed. So, brilliant. So that's that. Thanks, Nick, for joining us. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hope you enjoyed that little roundup of the Champions League action. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about what's going on in the Premier League this weekend. See who Liverpool are losing to this weekend, West Ham. And we'll see you then. So until next time, have a good one.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.